And I guess we need to talk about this right here. Of course, I almost missed the whole topic. We got to talk about Dmitry Bivol and Zurdo Ramirez and how good old fast car Eddie Hearn is being a hypocrite and not trying to make the fight. See, all these promoters be the same. And then I get shit sometimes when people say, you always ride with this promoter, or every week is somebody different. But in this case, I do not. Let me tell you something. I like Joshua Buatsi, but I think he would get beat up by Zurdo Ramirez and Dmitry Bivol. Am I not allowed to say that? Am I not allowed to have an opinion? No, we're going to do Eubank Jr. Conley Ben tomorrow. But I would rather see Bivol Zurdo over Bivol versus Buatsi. That's just me. And it seems as though Eddie Hearn, let's listen to Eddie Hearn on the Zone Boxing Show and what he had to say about it. Take your time out, like the video, subscribe. I'm T-Street Let me put the link to this in the chat for you guys. Watch it on your own time. But basically, in your opinion, let me do a poll in the chat. Type 1, I'm gonna do a physical poll in the chat for those who are watching live. But in the chat, for people who are watching later on, type 1 in the chat if you want Zurdo and Bivol. And type 2 in the chat if you want Bivol Buatsi. And I'm going to do a physical poll right now. Take your time out, like the video as well. But let's listen to Eddie Hearn, what he had to say.
Zurdo Ramirez. Now, does that mean, sometimes that means something, sometimes that means nothing. Does it mean to you that you might not get that opportunity for Joshua Buatsi to fight Bivol?
Well, in all those situations, we will have a right to request an alternative fight, an exemption, which we will file with the WBA. No problem making the Zurdo Ramirez fight, but we had already made plans for the Joshua Buatsi fight in October. So we'll speak to the WBA. Golden Boy will obviously put their argument forward, and whatever way the decision pans out, we will have to accept. There's a few decisions waiting and pending with the WBA. Of course, one is the Lee Wood, Leo Santa Cruz purse bid split, which we're waiting on. And now Leo Santa Cruz will request a unification with Ray Vargas, which was quite a sensational victory for him at the weekend. We didn't expect that at all. So, on all these situations, basically, champions have ideas, and then governing bodies and mandatories get in the way of those ideas. Then you all have to put your reasons forward and work out a solution. And that's one of the situations at the moment with Zurdo and Dmitry Bivol. No problem making that fight. We would like to do another fight first. And if we're not allowed, we're not allowed.
Well, I guess it doesn't make sense asking you, but do you think that Joshua Buatsi is a tougher fight than Zurdo? Or what?
I think it's very close. I mean, look, I think Zurdo is a very good fighter. I don't think Zurdo has really beaten elite light heavyweight opposition, in all honesty. But you may argue that Joshua Buatsi hasn't either. I think their resumes are quite similar at light heavyweight, to be honest with you. But they're both great fights. I mean, if we did get the Bivol fight approved with Buatsi, the winner would have to fight Zurdo anyway. And then obviously there's the Canelo Alvarez fight that's waiting in the wings. So there's a bit of a logjam, and I'm sure it'll all play out.
Yeah, look, as far as Joshua Buatsi, I know he has supreme.
Put the link to that video in the an interview in the chat. Just scroll up. It's the Zone Boxing Show on the Zone's YouTube channel. But personally, me, listen, he's pretty much already said that they were already in talks, Bivol and Buatsi, about making a fight. And then we did hear about it as well. They were in talks about making the fight, and then the WBA goes and orders Zurdo versus Bivol. But yet they still haven't ordered Leo Santa Cruz versus Lee Wood. That's just the WBA being shady again. Of course they'll order Zurdo and Bivol because they're under the same broadcaster under the Zone. But WBA ain't slick. I figured them motherfuckers out a long time ago. What was I doing? Oh, Gilberto Ramirez. Let's go look at their resumes. Because his career has been pretty stagnant since he left Top Rank. He thought he was going to get, rumors are he thought he was going to get like some big time money. And it just didn't turn out like that. 44-0 with 30 KOs, 31 years old. He's listed at about 6'2.5", about 6'3". Dominic Bozel stopped him. Mielnicki Gonzalez, that was a fight that happened like 3-4 years too late. Stopped him in 10. Sullivan Barrera stopped him. I mean, dude is good. Like, and don't let the resume fool you. There may be names that are like older or long in the tooth, but dude is no problem. You know, and you know, he had that trouble with Jesse Hart in that first fight. You know, I thought he stopped Jesse Hart in the second fight, and I've covered both of these fights and talked to Jesse about both of them. But yeah, majority of the decision there. But if I really was to pick somebody, you know, I would pick Dmitry Bivol. You know, but Dmitry Bivol hasn't seen a fighter like Zurdo Ramirez. Both of them haven't seen a fighter like each other. You know, he hasn't seen, Gilberto Ramirez hasn't seen like the boxer technician, you know, the very patient boxer technician. And even if it has to be boring, he'll make it boring just to get the win. You know, just to do just the bare minimum, Dmitry Bivol. And Dmitry Bivol hasn't seen a big, strong, you know, pressure fighter, power puncher with some boxing skills like Zurdo Ramirez. He hasn't seen it. You know, me, I was going to die on the hill of, you know, predicting that he was going to beat Canelo. I just knew that Canelo was going to have some problems with Dmitry Bivol. You know, but that's not saying that you know, my predictions don't be wrong or fucked up sometime. But I was like, yo, like Canelo ain't gonna be able to beat this dude. You know? If you didn't get to hear what Oscar De La Hoya had to say about the fight, here's what he had to say earlier about trying to make the fight.
He's strong up here. He knows what he has to do, and the experience.
Then Vergil Ortiz in Texas.
Oh, and it's gonna be.
All right, let me see. I think it's right here. This was at the final press conference for Ryan Garcia and Javier Fortuna earlier today. By the way, take your time out. Like the video and subscribe if you haven't. I'm T-Street Controversy with FightView360.
That his opponent has. Fortuna is coming in with everything. He has the tools to offset a young Ryan Garcia. So I strongly feel, you know, we're going to have a great crowd on Saturday night.
But Ryan's also got that attitude of, I'm putting on a show. I'm coming for the knockout. He's been saying that over and over and over.
Yeah, no, he's going to put on a show. And who knows what.
And according to Oscar De La Hoya, Ryan Garcia is having a coming out party on Fight Night on the 16th. So, you know, for the LGBTQ plus. It's going to be an exciting night. Fireworks.
Strong up here. He knows what he has to do.
I love hearing that attitude from them. Oscar, it's a busy summer for Golden Boy.
Yeah.
This weekend, and then on the 28th, Golden Boys in Fancy and Fight Night. Then Vergil Ortiz in Texas. And then Zurdo Ramirez talks.
Yeah.
Munguia talks. What's the latest with your company?
Yeah, no, so the WBA just ordered Zurdo versus Bivol, the guy who beat Canelo. So we're super excited to start negotiations. Look, Bivol doesn't have a promoter, so we're going to be dealing with his manager. It's going to be exciting. I think Zurdo Ramirez deserves the shot. He's been waiting for a long time. He fought in 2 final eliminators, so now he's next in line for that world title. And hey, he can get revenge. Revenge for Mexico, revenge for Canelo. It's an opportunity that Zurdo Ramirez has been waiting for, and he's going to take full advantage of it.
And what about possibly?
I think the WBA is going to stick to it and really order this fight to happen. Yeah, well, according to Oscar, that Bivol is not signed to Eddie Hearn. You know what I noticed and I didn't like is that, you know, and then maybe because he's not their fighter, is that when Bivol had beat Canelo, did you notice it wasn't like no big fanfare for Bivol from Matchroom? In fact, they didn't even release a press release after the fight, you know, that gives you the details of everything that happened during the event. You know, like that was pretty crazy to me. So it's maybe because, you know, Bivol was, you know, his deal was either over or he just was, you know, on a fight by fight basis with Eddie Hearn. But you know, I don't know. If I had to bet my money, I would think that, you know, Zurdo and Bivol is going to be forced to happen. And I kind of wanted to. I really don't care about BUATSI. I don't care about that fight. You know, no disrespect to Joshua BUATSI, but, you know, he can wait a little bit longer. And then Artur Beterbiev, who has that WBC, IBF, and WBO, he's going to be taking on Anthony Yarde, his WBO mandatory. That's already been set and signed. I'm guessing it's going to be sometime, later on this year, right? Where are they going for that? It's going to be in the UK. But is it going to be in November or December? That's what they're talking? Excuse me for burping. That was nasty. Hearn was real butthurt about Bivol winning. He was real butthurt. But yeah, my personal opinion is, you know, I like BUATSI, but that shit's got to wait. But by the way, we are going to talk about Conor Benn and Chris Eubank Jr. tomorrow, and I'm giving Conor Benn a chance.